The LA Kings started slow, but took care of business against the Sharks. Now it's on to Vegas. We talk about that and more next on this edition of Locked On LA Kings.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily podcast on the Los Angeles Kings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Kings fans, welcome to Locked On LA Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On LA Kings your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. We'd love for you to leave us a positive comment on Apple Podcasts if you're a fan of the show. And we're also on YouTube. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content. I'm Eddie Garcia, your host of Locked On LA Kings. I've worked in sports media for the past 30 years, 20 plus years at the Fox Sports Radio Network. I'm also co-host of the Puck Podcast. It's a weekly NHL review show that's been putting out content for the past 17 years, and a passionate LA Kings fan for over 30 years. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 back if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Well, the LA Kings were in action last night in one of those back-to-back situations as they beat the San Jose Sharks Wednesday night. Kings are now in Vegas for another big game against the defending Stanley Cup champs. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But first, let's talk about the Kings' latest win. And if you missed it, quick recap on the game. And the Kings did not get off to the start they wanted to. Matter of fact, it was one of their worst starts of the season. They fell behind 1-0, but were able to turn things on in the second period with 3 consecutive goals. Kevin Fiala, his 7th of the season on a Jordan Spence assist. Trevor Lewis would score 13 seconds later, his 5th of the season. That was unassisted. And then Pierre Dubois scored his 7th of the season on an assist from Arthur Kaliev and Alex Laferriere. In the third period, Adrian Kempe would score a pair of goals, his 10th and 11th of the season. Matt Roy and Carl Grundstrom get the assists on the first goal. Mikey Anderson and Drew Doughty, the helpers, on the second goal. And David Rittich made 25 saves in net in the win. The Kings improved to 27-4 on the season for 44 points. They're 7-6-3 on home ice now and 4-1 on their current 7-game stretch of games against Pacific Division opponents. Let's check out the game stats from last night. The Kings just 6 shots on goal in the opening period, and that was certainly the opposite of the game before against Calgary, where the Kings were so good in the first period, then kind of took too many penalties the rest of the way and didn't play a great second or third. The Kings, though, in this one, not a great first period, but really turned it on in the second. 17 shots on goal in the second, and then 20 shots on goal in the third period. They finish with the 5-1 win, and in the end, 43 shots on goal to San Jose's 25. Both teams were 0 for 3 on the power play. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Faceoffs favored the LA Kings 32-22. Block shots also in favor of the Kings 20-16. And hits went to San Jose 23-16. Another solid all-around performance by the LA Kings after a sluggish first period. Depth scoring again, a big advantage for the LA Kings. 4 different goal scorers, one from each of the Kings' 4 lines. You had Kempe with 2 goals from the top line. Kevin Fiala gets a goal from the second line. Pierre Dubois, a goal from the third line. And Trevor Lewis, a goal from the fourth line. The balance has been one of the big reasons for the Kings' success all season long. It has been fun to watch different players stepping up on different nights. The Kings win convincingly without getting a point from their top point producer, Anze Kopitar, and without getting a goal from their top goal scorer, Trevor Moore. And they won with their backup goalie as well. Granted, it was against maybe the worst team in the NHL, but the result is what the result is, and that is a King convincing win. We're going to get to the 3 stars of the game as selected by me, but I did want to point out one player who's not going to be one of my 3 stars, but I thought he deserved some recognition, and that is Kings forward Alex Laferriere. I thought he had a very solid game against San Jose. He was very active throughout the game, led the team with 6 shots on goal, had a nice secondary assist on the Pierre Dubois goal where he battled for the puck, won it, held it in the zone, skated around, eventually found Arthur Kaliyev for a shot straight away. Save was made, but the rebound went right to Pierre-Luc Dubois, who put it home for the goal. And by the way, very nice to see Pierre-Luc Dubois get goals in back-to-back games. But back to Alex Laferriere, not only a solid game all around, but he did something that he probably doesn't really want to do, and that was get into a fight to stick up for a teammate. Arthur Kaliyev took a questionable hit from kind of the side back area. He went headfirst into the boards, looked like he was going to be shaken up. Fortunately, he wasn't. But Alex Laferriere immediately dropped the gloves, went after the San Jose player, Luke Cunnin. I know that he did get a lot of publicity and accolades when he got into a fight in his first NHL game earlier this season. Of course, there was the fun reaction from his family that was there watching. But Alex Laferriere is not a fighter. And to be honest, he didn't look great in that fight against the Sharks. He took a couple of pretty big punches, wasn't able to really get off any shots on his own part. Fortunately, though, he wasn't hurt. But that's twice now that Alex Laferriere, as a rookie, has answered the bell when someone has done something questionable against a teammate. Great to see that. I guarantee you he has the respect of his teammates for what he was able to do. So a great game for Alex Laferriere. And again, nice to see him step up in that situation where he thought someone took a liberty with one of his teammates. And even though it's not what he's there to do, if it's called upon, he's willing to answer the bell, so to speak. So well done for Alex Laferriere, who continues to have a very unexpected, surprising, and all-around solid rookie season. As for our 3 stars of the game, my number 3 star is Kevin Fiala. Now, he had the 1 goal, his 7th of the season. He has hit the 30-point mark, second on the team behind Andre Kopitar. But this game did not start well for Kevin Fiala. And we all know he can be a high-risk, high-reward type of player. But against San Jose, he had a terrible turnover at the Kings blue line, led to a breakaway goal, made a kind of a blind pass to Mikey Anderson. It was intercepted. Kraken scored the first goal of the game. And head coach Todd McClellan benched Fiala for the rest of the first period. Now, he was back on the ice to start the second period with the second line, and he responded with that game-time breakaway goal of his own, taking a puck that was a turnover in the Kings zone, going coast to coast and scoring on a beautiful move. I love the way he responded to being benched. He didn't get mad. He didn't sulk. He didn't get down on himself. He took the punishment and responded from it the appropriate way by playing better and coming up with a big goal. And he was good, played solid the rest of the game. So just I liked what, frankly, Todd McClellan did to show one of his top players. You can't do that and not have any repercussions. Holding players accountable, holding to a standard, and the way Kevin Fiala responded to it. Again, understanding, yeah, I screwed up. Yeah, I'm getting benched. I don't like it. But when I get my chance, I'm going to go out. I'm going to do the best I can, make the most of it, and contribute in a positive way. That's exactly what he did. So love that. All's well that ends well. Kevin Fiala, my number 3 star. The number 2 star for me is goalie David Rittich. 25 saves to improve to 2-0 as an LA King, winning his home debut. Allowed the 1 goal on the breakaway, which certainly wasn't on him. I thought he was excellent in the first period. The Kings were still trying to figure things out in that opening period, but Rittich made several key saves to keep it at a 1-goal game. He now has 2 wins. Now they're both against maybe the worst team in the league, but the way that Rittich had been playing in the AHL and how he finished last season in the NHL, I did have some concerns about coming in and filling in for the injured Phoenix Copley. Now, we still don't know how long Copley's going to be out. And again, I get that it's against San Jose. But I think David Rittich has been very solid in his 2 performances so far, both wins. It is a small sample size, but I felt really good about how he looked against San Jose. And just peeking ahead, next time the Kings have back-to-back games will be in mid-January. That's against Carolina and Dallas, both on the road. So if it's still David Rittich at that point, he'll certainly be getting his toughest test so far. But I thought he had a really solid first period, kept the Kings in it, and a good game the rest of the way. So I'm going to give David Rittich my number 2 star. As far as the number 1 star, that goes to Kings forward Adrian Kempe with his 2 goals. First goal, a nice deflection from the high slot on a point shot. Nice hands on that one, which we know Kempe has. Second goal, showed off his speed took the puck at center ice, skated right around a defender, and then busted off a wrist shot past the goaltender. Kind of vintage Adrian Kempe on that one. Now, the Kings haven't necessarily needed Juice to be the goal scorer that he was a year ago. He probably won't get 40 this year. That's because the Kings have more balanced scoring this year, but they still need Adrian Kempe to be a guy who scores important goals. Now, he has been streaky over his career, so hopefully this 2-goal performance will get him going. Had only 1 goal in the month of December before the game against San Jose, which goes to show you how good the Kings have been as a team to have their leading goal scorer from a year ago have just 1 goal in a month, and they're still playing at a high level. This was Kempe's first multiple goal game this season, but he does lead the team with 9 multi-point games this year, so it's not like he isn't contributing. We told you on Wednesday's show, he is on pace for a career high in assists and points, but for his 2-goal game, Adrian Kempe is my number 1 star against the San Jose Sharks. As usual, after a Kings game, we're going to talk about what we liked and what we didn't like in the win over San Jose. We'll do that here next on Locked On LA Kings, your team every day. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. I don't, because I use Gametime, the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all your sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. I have personally used Gametime to buy tickets to NHL and NFL games this year, and I am a very satisfied customer. The app is very easy to navigate and use. They've got killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, and the best price guaranteed. Gametime is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. I love that you can view your seats on the app before you buy it, so you know exactly what you're getting when you arrive. They've got all-in pricing showing you the total up front, so you know exactly what you're getting. There's no hidden fees. Buying tickets in seconds is easy with just 2 taps on the app. So download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, let's talk about what we liked and didn't like from the Kings victory. And let's go back to what my keys were for the LA Kings to getting the victory over the Sharks. We talked about the shot mentality and the net front presence. It didn't start that way for the Kings. They were trying, but they just weren't getting shots through, shooting it wide, having shots blocked. But eventually they did get it going, got the shots on net. Talked about the deflection from Adrian Kempe, the rebound goal from Pierre-Luc Dubois. So that was definitely there. Talked about having the special teams be special. Well, that really didn't happen. They were 3 for 3 on the penalty kill, so the league's top PK unit still getting the job done. But 0 for 3 on the power play. Although I did think the power play actually looked a little bit better. But also a key for the special teams is that they didn't take a lot of penalties, something they did in the game against the Flames, which affected them offensively, their flow and their rhythm. So they stayed out of the box. So that was a good one. As far as playing to your level, the Kings definitely did that again, something we've seen them do all year long. They definitely don't take their opponents for granted. They don't look and say, oh, it's the Sharks, this is an easy win, and come out flat, or don't skate to their capabilities. Again, they did start slow in this one as far as shots on goal, but eventually showed that they were definitely the much better team. As far as what we didn't like, certainly the start wasn't what we expected. Now, you could blame the 3-day off holiday break for a little bit of rust, but San Jose had a 3-day break too, and I thought they played a very solid first period, so that really doesn't hold much water. The Kings had 1 shot on goal in the first 9 minutes of the game. Very un-King-like in that respect, but they got it going later on, and then the 20 shots in the third period was just putting the game away. Over 3 on the power play, yes, but I did think it looked better, but we still need the results. The results still are not there with the Kings power play, and that is a concern. Pierre-Luc Dubois did have a great goal, but I still think he needs to be stronger going to the net. There was one play in particular where he made a strong move. He went to the net, and then he had a drop pass to no one. He needs to try and finish on those strong moves to the net, take it to the net, try and stuff it in, get off a shot, get your own rebound, just be more aggressive going to the net. Obviously, we didn't like the Kevin Fiala turnover. Again, we know he can be a high-risk, high-reward player, but there's high risk plays and then there's dumb plays. And that play, frankly, was just a dumb play on his part. He knows he can't do that. And it had the results of him getting benched for about half the first period. As far as the things we did like, obviously we liked the result. We talked about one of the keys to the Kings is playing to their level. And that means not playing down to the level of their opponent. Yeah, they're playing maybe the worst team in the NHL. That should be an easy 2 points. But the Kings have shown all year long when they have 2 points available to them, when there's a team that isn't one of the better teams in the league, they usually take care of business against those teams. And I don't think we should take that for granted. The Kings are showing up to play at their level every night, regardless of the opponent. And that's why they have an 11-1-2 record against teams that currently are not holding a playoff spot. So again, when there is lesser competition and the Kings should get 2 points, they normally always get the 2 points. They did it again against San Jose. I like the fact that they bounced back off after not a good first period and had 2 very solid periods thereafter. I talked about it. Loved Kevin Fiala's response to the benching for that bad turnover, handled it exactly the right way. And even Todd McClellan said afterwards that it's not something he wants to do, but that he felt he had to do it. And the result was what he wanted, not just from Kevin Fiala, but from the entire team as well after that happened. We talked about not scoring on the power play, but as far as the special teams go, the Kings did stay out of the penalty box. They had 1 penalty in each of the 3 periods. That's certainly acceptable. And I thought the penalty in the third period on Alex Ferrier for sticking up for Arthur Kaliev, he got an extra roughing penalty on that. I thought that was BS. But the balanced scoring we talked about, something else we like. The Kings now have 12 players in double digits in points, 3 players with 30 or more points, 6 players with 20 or more points. Love the balance on this team as far as everybody contributing. Solid goaltending again from David Rittich, getting a win at home. The Kings now 7-6-3 on home ice, need to be better. But again, taking care of business on home ice, something that needs to continue. And again, even though the Kings 0 for 3 on the power play, I thought they actually had some very good scoring chances. And the Kings did not allow a high-quality scoring chance against while on the power play, something that has been an issue way too many times this season. And the Kings actually had a few decent shorthanded chances as well. Again, the top penalty killing team in the league, going 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. So that is remaining a strength for the LA Kings and something that we liked as well. Well, the LA Kings playing a big game tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights. We've got a preview of that coming up here next on Locked on LA Kings, your team every day. Snap into the action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That is $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. And if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there is no better time to get in on the sports action than now. The app is easy to use. You got a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. And obviously, we love to bet on the NFL if you're an NFL fan like me. But of course, we love the NHL as well. And you can certainly do that with FanDuel. Our LA Kings are favored tonight in Vegas against the Golden Knights by 1.5 goals. The over-under for the game is 6.5 goals. Want to place a bet on the Kings to win? Think the game will have more or less than 6.5 goals? Then you need to visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and bet all season long on the NHL and the NFL as well. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. The LA Kings face the Vegas Golden Knights on the road tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Catch every moment of the hometown broadcast of the LA Kings with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search for LA Kings. Well, the Kings are playing game number 6 of 7 straight games against the Pacific Division tonight in Las Vegas. And if the playoffs started today, this would be a first-round playoff matchup. This is the third and final meeting of the regular season between the Kings and Golden Knights. LA so far 1-0-1 against the defending Stanley Cup champs. On October 28th, the Kings lost in a shootout at home against Vegas by a score of 4-3. That was a rare game where the Kings actually jumped out to a 2-0 lead. They got goals from Alex Ferrier and Trevor Lewis, but then allowed 3 straight goals. They needed a Drew Doughty goal with the extra attacker to force overtime and get a point out of it. Jack Eichel would later score the only shootout goal of the game, and Vegas would skate off with the victory. Cam Talbot took the loss in that one, allowing 3 goals on 36 shots. The second meeting was November 8th in Las Vegas. Kings jumped out to a 3-0 lead in that one, got even strength goals from Anze Kopitar, and then a pair of power play goals from Trevor Lewis and P.L. Dubois. Anze Kopitar iced it with an empty net goal, the 400th of his career, and Cam Talbot got the win in net, allowing just 1 goal on 37 shots. Anze Kopitar is your leading point producer for the LA Kings with 31. Jack Eichel is leading Vegas in points with 39. Trevor Moore leads the Kings in goals with 16. Jonathan Marchessault, 17 goals for the Golden Knights to lead them. Kings are going to start Cam Talbot in net tonight, and it doesn't look like we're going to see a matchup of 2 of the top goalies in the NHL. There was some talk about Adin Hill returning to the lineup tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights. He's been injured. He's only played 1 game this month. But Talbot is number 2 in the NHL in goals against average at 2.06. Adin Hill is number 1 at 1.93. Cam Talbot 4th in the NHL in save percentage at 925. Hill's number 1 at 933. But he has the upper body injury. Apparently he's close to returning, but also looks like the word is here late that he's not going to start in net. Maybe they're going to save him for the upcoming Winter Classic for the Golden Knights playing in Seattle against the Kraken on New Year's Day. Logan Thompson, who was an all-star for Vegas last season, played last night against the Ducks. So it looks like the Kings will be facing a goalie they've never faced before, and that is Yuri Patera. He's a 24-year-old out of Prague in Czechia, or the Czech Republic. He's only appeared in 6 career NHL games, 4 of them this season. He's got a record of 1-2. His goals against average is 3.98. His save percentage is 897. So certainly looks like he is a netminder the Kings could potentially take advantage of. A young goalie facing probably the best team he's ever faced in his young NHL career. So hopefully that will be and should be an advantage tonight for the LA Kings in net, with what looks to be the matchup of Cam Talbot for the Kings against Yuri Patera of the Vegas Golden Knights. Talking about this, if the season ended today, would be a first-round playoff matchup. Kings are currently in 3rd in the Pacific Division. They're 3 points behind the Golden Knights for 2nd place, but they have 5 games in hand on Vegas. Vegas has played 5 more games than the Kings, so the Kings certainly have opportunities to make up ground and get that 2nd spot, if not more, in the Pacific Division and get home ice advantage in the first round of the playoffs. If they do finish 2nd, they would have home ice against the Vegas Golden Knights. LA is 6th in the NHL in total points. Vegas is 4th. Vegas checks in with a 21-10-5 record for 47 points. Golden Knights were in action last night, losing to the Ducks in Anaheim 5-2. They allowed 4 first-period goals, so you can be sure Vegas wants to get off to a better start tonight, and the Kings would like to get off to a better start as well, as they did not play their best first period against San Jose. The Golden Knights are currently riding a season-high 4-game losing skid. LA is the best team on the road in the NHL at 13-1-1. Golden Knights, pretty good on home ice at 12-3-2 this season. Those 4 losses for the Golden Knights in a row all have been road games. Golden Knights average 3.33 goals per game. That's 12th in the NHL. The Kings are 3rd in the NHL in goals per game at 3.54. Kings are allowing just 2.32 goals per game, number 1 in the NHL. Golden Knights are allowing 2.78 goals per game. That is 10th in the NHL. The Kings have allowed 9 total goals in their last 5 games. For Vegas, in their last 4 games, they've allowed a total of 20 goals. So again, Vegas not coming into this game on a high note. Not only have they lost 4 in a row, but they lost their last game against the Ducks. They're starting what is basically their 3rd string goalie in this game, and the Kings have been great on the road. So things are looking pretty good for the LA Kings going in to this matchup as far as that goes. However, we mentioned this is the 2nd of back-to-back games for both teams, but for the LA Kings, they are 6-2-3 in back-to-back games this season, 5-0-1 in the first game of the back-to-backs, but just 1-2-2 in the second of those back-to-back games. So we'll see if that holds up tonight or not. But either way, looking forward to another great matchup between these two Pacific Division rivals. The LA Kings against the Vegas Golden Knights always has a playoff type feel to it. And as I mentioned, if the season ends today, this would be a first round playoff matchup. Looking forward to talking about this game on tomorrow's show, and hopefully looking forward to talking about a big LA Kings road victory. For you everydayers, those of you that listen and watch Locked On LA Kings every day, obviously tomorrow we will recap all the important moments from the Kings Golden Knights game tonight. And it is a Friday. That means it's a Feedback Friday. All your questions and comments talking about the LA Kings coming up on tomorrow's show. And if you want to send an email, there's still time. LockedOnEddie@gmail.com is the email address, EDDIE. And of course, you can leave your comments on the YouTube episodes as well. In the comments section, you can send me questions via Twitter, Instagram. The address for both of those is at Locked On LA Kings. I'm Eddie Garcia. Thank you for listening and watching Locked On LA Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Have a great rest of your day. Looking forward to talking about the Kings Golden Knights game on Friday's show, and it's a Feedback Friday. We will do that tomorrow. We will talk to you then. And as always, go Kings go.